Hi, Sean Huxter here, and welcome to Magical Little Worlds with me. Tonight, I'm going to do a bit of a short one. There's not a lot to show because this is the 1997 Wendy's, I believe, compact. I didn't know much about this. I certainly didn't know anything about it until I saw a picture of it, prompting me to go out and buy one just to see what it was all about. And so this, of course, is Pinky and the Brain. And before I even get started, let me tell you that back in the day, Pinky and the Brain was my absolute favorite cartoon. Oh my God, there is so much going on in that cartoon. Just Pinky is a brilliant character. The Brain is a brilliant character, although he's very stupid, obviously. He comes up with all these plans and he just totally fails. And yet Pinky is always there to support him. Pinky has some of the best lines in the history of TV. Pinky always says, "Well, what are we going to do tonight, Brain?" And Brain says, "Try and take over the world." And then Brain says, "Are you pondering what I'm pondering, Pinky?" And then Pinky says, "I think so, Brain, but where are we going to find a duck and a hose at this hour?" Some of his lines are absolutely brilliant. And he says, "I think so, Brain, but where are we going to find chaps our size?" And another one is, "I think so, Brain, but isn't Regis Philbin already married?" And another one is, "I think so, Brain, but balancing a family and a career, it's all just too much for me." He's wonderful. Anyway, this is 1997, but before I even open this, I'm going to keep you in suspense. I want to show you a couple of things. First, my very first Pinky and the Brain collectible is this little guy. McDonald's 1993. Here it is. Look how yellowed it is. This is old, guys. This is the Brain on top of some sort of machine. It's like a wheel, and Pinky's inside. And normally you can spin this and he would stay upright because he's kind of like hanging off the axle. But either way, it's kind of fun. And there's Experiment in Progress. I loved it. And this is basically all you could get back in the day for Pinky and the Brain. But the next year, we got these guys. And these are so dirty now. These need cleaning up. But they're kind of rubbery, so it's hard to clean them. These are bendy wire rubber figures. And back in the day, this was basically all you could get for Pinky and the Brain, despite how popular the show was. And I was so happy to have it. The worst thing is, Brain just cannot stand. I mean, no, he's just way too top heavy. So I just kind of lean him back on his little tail. Pinky can stand fairly well. The only other Pinky and the Brain collectible I have, and I'll caveat that by saying almost, the only other figure I have is this 2017 figure from QMX, Q Figtoons, the Pinky and the Brain taking over the world. And it's a really nice figure. Like this one, the others are kind of like very toy-like. This is a collectible, guys. This is beautiful. And this is Pinky and the Brain on blueprint plans to take over the world. And it's absolutely lovely. So I'm going to place it here. But there's one more thing I want to show you. And I'm going to have to leave my little studio area to show it to you. And I'm going to do that right now. I don't collect many animation cells, but I do have a few. I have Nichelle Nichols as Uhura in Star Trek animated series. I have a Batman cell from the original Batman animated series, but also, prior to my collection, the Brain. From the episode Big in Japan, original animation cell. There's the certification from Warner Brothers. And there he is. But tonight, the real reason I wanted to bring this up is because continuing my compact series with Polly Pocket and Mighty Max and many others, this is the Wendy's Pinky and the Brain from 1997. There's your Pinky and the Brain logo on the back. I'd love to know who actually manufactured this because it does kind of have a bit of a feel of Bluebird Toys, but I don't think it could possibly have been done by Bluebird Toys. Anyway, this is not going to be a complicated set, guys. This is not Mighty Max. This is not Polly Pocket, but I am going to show it to you, and I just love it anyway. Now, remember, this says Pinky and the Brain, and there's Pinky and the Brain. Inside, no Pinky. No Pinky at all. So inside, what do we have? We have a yellow base down below. It's obviously a lab. There's the Acme sign. There's a particle accelerator. Certainly that's what that is. And then we have lab equipment over here. You've got equipment over here. Probably a computer of some kind over here. And then Acme Labs up here. Now, what does this do? Not a lot. It's a bit like the McDonald's Polly Pocket toy, which doesn't do a whole lot, and the McDonald's Mighty Max toys, which don't do a lot, but they're still wonderful toys anyway. For example, 1993's McDonald's Mighty Max set of the Yeti, really well sculpted. It's got these yellow and blue eyes here, and if you open it up, you are inside a Nepalese mountaintop, because you've got your Yeti here, which looks every bit like a real Mighty Max figure, but he's nailed down, you can't move him. And then you got Mighty Max here in yellow. And I always thought this was a bit weird, because Mighty Max should be painted. Then I realized, no, this came out in an era when the original Mighty Max was beige. Just beige. So this isn't all that different. But he's kind of molded into the base. The weird thing is that this has a purple circular area. There's a button back here that rotates Max around the Yeti, so he's like running circles around the Yeti. And I mean, that's actually a pretty decent little Mighty Max set. For a McDonald's toy, pretty crazy. The weird thing is, I found a version recently, as I was buying these, that had no painted eyes. Everything else is the same, but somebody forgot to paint the eyes. Everything else is exactly the same, no eye paint, which is kind of fun, you know? A little factory variant. And then in 1995, they came out with this one. And this opens up as well. This is the ice monster. Then you open this up, and this is nothing like the Yeti, though. There's a Mighty Max character here, and all you can really do is kind of move him up and down this channel. But you can rotate him, and he kind of has to maneuver his way up between these two other ice monsters. And it's very kind of difficult to do. But that's basically all he does, and then he can escape his way up to the top, and it is really rather difficult. This one, I don't consider this a terribly good Mighty Max toy, whereas the Yeti, I do. I like the Yeti so much that I decided to do a variant in which I painted the teeth, I painted the eyes a little differently, but inside, I made it look like a winter wonderland. Rather than the purple and blue hellscape we see here, I took it upon myself to make this look more like it was actually a winter background, and I also painted Max. I didn't paint his skin, but I did paint his outfit, so now he looks a bit more like the Max a lot of us are familiar with. So what's in Pinky and the Brain set? Well, not a lot. You do have the Hadron Collider, or a particle accelerator, and you have Brain, really well sculpted. They painted his ears, but they didn't paint anything else. Not even like the pupils of his eyes. But, you know, he's mostly a white mouse anyway, right? Makes sense to paint his ears, but wouldn't it have been nice had they painted his nose red and maybe his eyes? You know what? I may take it upon myself to do that. And what does this do? Well, you got a little lever over here, and you can move Brain back and forth. But what it does is it spins the globe. You give it a good pull, and it really spins the globe for a while. It's hard to see on the camera because it's one single color, but you can see the lines. And the Brain just moves back and forth like that. You know, not much, just a little bit of an amusement for a fast food toy. And, you know, for what it is, I think it's kind of cool. And I will always be a fan. By the way, if you haven't watched the show, go and find the Christmas episode, but bring tissues. It will bring you to tears. It is absolutely one of the finest episodes of a cartoon ever done. And so I just wanted to bring this to you and show you that it exists, first of all. It's not hard to find, second of all. And if you're a fan of Pinky and the Brain, I don't know why you don't already have this. Which, of course, is kind of silly because I didn't have it until this past year. With all of my longtime fandom of Pinky and the Brain, where I got these back when they came out, I didn't have this until last year. So I just wanted to bring your awareness to it. So for Sean Huckster, this has been Magical Little Worlds. Glad I could share some Pinky and the Brain with you because it's wonderful. Good night.